Are we back? Yes, we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest. Our first guest in 2 weeks.
Our first guest in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, we had
sorry.
We had Kev on.
Yeah, Kev last week. Sorry, Kev.
Stem cell Scouse.
You'll probably recognise her face. She's been with us a few times now on our open mic nights. A brilliant singer and a very nice person. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sam Lyon.
Hello.
Hello, Sam.
Hello.
So, tell everyone what's been going on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm just hectic at the moment. So I've just come back from a UK tour and had a week off or a couple of weeks off to do naff and catch up with myself, and now I'm straight back at it. So I was in London yesterday, Liverpool today.
So you had a gig in London?
Yeah, so it's just absolutely non-stop.
Oh, brilliant. So you're getting around the country now.
Yeah.
You're getting out there. That's good. Good.
So the UK tour was great. So it's my biggest one so far. I think there was sort of like 24 dates on it, I think, over the course of pretty much the whole of June, and it was the first I've done 3 tours, but this was the first one that really felt like a proper tour, and I had sold out shows and sold out all my merchandise on the first night, and it was just amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
So the venues you've been at, 24 did you say?
Well, yes.
24
I
different
think.
venues.
Something like that.
So we're going to go straight in the deep end, which was their best venue.
Do you know what? I find this really difficult because it's so hard to place them all because they're all equally brilliant for different reasons.
Yeah.
So the London show, I played on a pirate ship, or like a big navigator ship that was like docked in London, which was just the most insane experience. But I don't know, like atmosphere-wise, I guess Chester, which was my first show, that topped the charts easily. Like the atmosphere there was just amazing. But venue-wise, you can't top a pirate ship.
No.
So it's kind of...
There's a guy who looks like me with an eye patch on it. Sing us the next song, will you? Sing us the next song.
Doing the 1, 2 on the mic.
1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. But you know, that's it. Sometimes something that makes you laugh can make a gig. Or a certain person can make a gig. Or like sometimes, a lot of the time it's a vibe, isn't it?
It is.
It's a vibe. Sometimes you've got like 10 people there, but the vibe's great. You'd have like 50 people. Can't feel the vibe. So it's all about the vibe that you get them back, and sometimes it makes you play a bit better, doesn't it?
Does it affect your performance? I mean, I'm not a singer anyway, but does it affect your performance when you're performing and people at the bar talking and nobody's paying attention? Does that affect how you are?
I mean...
Like how your performance goes out? Or do you just blank it out and crack on?
I just kind of get on with it. Because I think, well, I've done it for 10-ish years now, so I kind of, if I didn't have the heart to kind of deal with it, then I'd be screwed by now, you know what I mean? So I know, I get on with it. I just, as far as I'm concerned, it's my job at the end of the day, and so...
It's nice to have that mindset as well, you see, where you can drive forward in that passion.
Yeah.
Nothing can get in your way. You're loving it too much.
The thing is, as well, I think you always, no matter where you play, there's always going to be at least 1 or 2 people listening. Even in a big rowdy crowd, there's always going to be someone there that appreciates music, and you kind of end up spending the whole gig just kind of doing it for them, which is equally as nice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but I remember I was at the Baltic Social playing a few myself. And you come in, first time I ever seen you. It must have been about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So you must have been young then. But I remember, like, you got up and I was like, wow, who's this? But then at the same time, it was very close. Well, 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Because I remember coming over to your mum. Was it your mum sitting there?
Oh no, sorry, it was my friend's mum.
It was your friend's mum, and I come over, and because my brother just passed away, and you are the spit of my brother's daughter, who he's only met twice, which is quite heartbreaking in itself. But then when you're sitting there, because I'd never met her, but I'd seen pictures of her, I actually had to come over, and I thought that you were actually my brother's daughter.
Wow.
And I thought she must be around the same age, which was weird.
No
but
way.
When you started singing on your guitar, because I was thinking about my brother, I had a bit of a tear, like I must admit. I was like, because it was such a beautiful voice as well, and then thinking of, took me back to, you know, your brother and all that, and then I was just like, and I've come over to your mate's mum, didn't I? And I was like, what's your name? And then I was like, oh, so sorry, you're not my brother's kid. And like, she's like, look at me going, how do you not know your brother's kid is? Like, you weird, so go away. So like, I don't want to look weird, but, you know. I might be your Uncle Dave. I just But, you know, it just sounds so strange. Then your mate's mum just looked at me and went, yeah, okay, bye then. And I went, yeah, bye then. It's like great performance, but yeah, it got me a bit emotional, to be honest.
Oh, we got there in the end.
So the first time I ever seen you play, I got a bit of a tear.
Aww.
So that's
Nearly scared it off as well at the same time.
Sam was alright, but it makes I was like, bloody hell, sometimes they got over the door.
Just on the phone. Yeah.
It makes mum had one hand on the fire
Cheeky
extinguisher.
iPhone.
It makes mum had one hand on the fire extinguisher and he's a batting me up the end of it. But, yeah, but I remember that one, yeah, the Baltic Triangle,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that's right, that's
and it's
right.
a lovely little venue, that.
It was, but
Yeah,
I
it's like
believe
rustic,
it
innit?
stopped kind of a few weeks after, I believe so.
Yeah, it did stop,
It was
didn't
just
it?
Is that another open mic night going down the Swanee?
Do you know what it was? Because I got to host it the week
Oh.
before it jumped.
Yeah, that was it.
Didn't
you host our last Rocker in the River as well?
Oh, you're hosting the last one in the river, yeah.
Hey, what's
Hey,
the
do you
same
know
about
what?
this podcast, lad? We say it.
Oh yeah, this is going to be the end of it.
Anyway, it's not all about, this isn't all about me, this section, so I'm just going to pass it back over to
Kingy
Sam.
the killer.
But all I'll say though, Sam, is I watched a very epic music video of yours.
Oh, was this the one in the cathedral?
Oh man, how epic can you get?
Oh, it's very diva-esque.
It's not like
wasn't it?
party, no partnership, that is it? It's like a massive bloody big cathedral and I got all violinists.
Yeah, and a big
I
gold
was
dress.
like, wow.
Honestly,
Yeah,
so
gold
such a
dress,
video.
very diva,
I
man.
know. Well, the thing is, it looks really glamorous, but it was anything but. The behind the scenes. So I had this big glittery, like slim gold dress on, looking like Whitney Houston or something like that. But so I had big pegs all the way down it to keep me in it, and to get because we had the camera set up at the perfect angle to try and get everybody in because there were so many of us. And obviously I'm really little, so I had to kind of be on the same level as everyone else because we had windows behind us, we couldn't get too much light in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was too little, so I had to stand on a tin of paint to make me higher. So it was on like a really cobbled floor, so if you watch the video, I'm like really still and I can't move because if I move a little bit, the paint wobbles on the cobbles.
There's loads of like hand and arm movements but no leg movements. Just like,
And that's exactly, I'm
like the fairy on top of a Christmas tree. Not that they move, but it's
Have you
like...
been seeing David's performances, have you? I mean, in the gold dress standing on paint.
18 for me when you're 18.
Wait till we can finish this podcast later.
So you used to have a performance, I know you performed the same night, but have you performed together?
No,
That'd be something that would work well, I think.
We could do in the future,
Yeah.
I mean, we could do in the
I'm not going
future.
to throw you on the spot
write
tonight
something
and go, come
down.
on, dance.
No, we could write something down. If, like as I say, with this production stuff I've got as well, I want to produce stuff.
Yeah,
You know, so if I get into that, because I've tried, but it's like an art form production.
yeah.
I know what I want to hear, and I know how to get it on, like say, onto the tracks. But then
The technology in between.
it's the technology,
It's like
the technology
learning
in
to
between.
paint, isn't it? You can have
Yeah.
an image in your mind, but actually trying to paint something is just it just
try and
looks like
get
a
it down,
good stuff.
yeah,
It's, yeah, so I
yeah,
imagine
that's
it's
it.
exactly the same thing.
But the image is there, and I'm, like, you know, I can play music and put, like, you know, violins down, all the rest of it. I can make it what my vision is, but then it's just all stuff like
Polishing it off, isn't it? That's kind of
yeah, it's like getting the mix, and then it's like not just the mix, it's like compression and getting it radio quality, and then all these little things come in, and because they're like polluting my thoughts, it's not creative anymore to me. My creative process stops when I stop writing the song and singing it, and then here's another hurdle. It's like the production of it
Bit of a chore.
becomes a bigger thing again. But as I say, you know, it'd be nice like to get something down, write something together or whatever, but you know, you're a very busy girl as well.
It's like
You know
the
what I mean?
shittest game,
I've
blind
always
date, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blind
I'm
dating!
like on the couch doing nothing like that, summer holidays, just texting Sam. Do you want to get together and create that song like she's like on a yacht somewhere filmed on? Oh, here's Dave again. Sorry guys, can we cut filming because
Singing on a submarine in Wales.
I know Dave's very busy as well, and I'll have to pick this phone.
Hey Sam, it's
call,
Uncle
like,
Dave!
There's me with, and then there's me, I love your Uncle Dave, there's me with like a packet of Pringles. Alright Sam, as you get him, yeah, you're okay. As the speedboats go past and the film crew are telling you what to do, you know what I mean? But you know, I was like, yeah. I went into one then, sorry, go on Sam, back to Sam.
So anyway, Sam, and we're not talking about washing pegs and tin paints. So what's the future hold for you? What's your ambition? Realistic ambition? I know a lot of people say I want to be number one in the chart, and I'm not saying that you can't be number one in the charts, but what's your target now? What's 2020's target for Sam Lyon?
I don't know. Do you know what? I think about this all the time, and I feel like it changes quite often, depending on what I'm working on and kind of where things kind of take me. Anyway, it always changes. Like, obviously, I would love to be number one in the charts, and that's an underlying kind of thing that I'd aspire to. But that's also very out of reach, and I'm aware of that. So
it's not out of reach. You just need to find the right people.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You know yourself as a musician.
Well, look at this little Nas X who wrote a song. I read the story. He wrote his Old Town Road song and his sisters over like.
I'm gonna take my heart down Old Town Road.
And he said he needed something catchy. He said he needed something short, and he needed something that was going to stick in people's minds. And he's the longest number one in the history. 17 weeks at number one, more than anybody else. And he said he knew he made that song to be a number one. Not necessarily because that was the song he wanted to make. He knew he needed to make something which was going to help him become a success, and then he could then go on and make.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned this because I think there's two different types of songwriters. Now, there's songwriters who can sit down and whatever comes to them from the heart and from the head, and they can sit there and do something personal. That ain't necessarily the way forward, because although you think it's a great song and people around like, oh, it's brilliant, that song. But then there's other writers who go, okay, there's a system. There's a system to writing songs. There's certain words you've got to use.
Well, I can put testament to that because I'm not a musician. I can't play an instrument to save my life. Give me something computer and techie on my man. But musically wise, I can't sing. I can't play an instrument. But I write quite a lot. I've got about 100 odd songs, half written, 3/4 written. Now, to me, I know what the lyrics mean, but I don't know whether a beat would work. You know, I don't hear beat sounds or not. And I'm more like not poetry, but it's more pop poetry or rap poetry or whatever way I do about it. But I wouldn't know whether it's a right song or wrong song, but I just write down what I feel. Yeah. But my way of doing it to yours, to Sam's.
How would you write the song, Sam? Are you from instinct?
Do you know what?
Or do you think about it and go, oh, I'm going to think about this in a different angle?
I always write about how I'm feeling and things that have happened to me. And I think it depends how you go about it, I think.
It's the most honest way, so it should be really the most sellable way, because you're investing in a person in that song.
Yeah.
So when someone comes, oh, here's Sam's song, they're investing in you as well.
Well,
it's
that's
not
it.
just
And
a perfectly structured song.
Yeah.
Investing in a person.
There's so much, I think, so many people kind of, when they make it, they end up going so commercial, and it's not them as such anymore. And I think if you can kind of have the best of both worlds and write something that is yours, but at the same time, I guess people can have their own messages within it as well. You know, people can listen to it and put their own experiences towards it, as opposed to being just very set in stone.
I think at the
That's
moment now,
the way forward.
I think for independent singer-songwriters at the moment, there's no better time to be out. If you look at, you've got Lewis Capaldi at the moment. Lewis is doing really well. There's a guy, Jerry Cinnamons, who's got no record label whatsoever. He's selling out 30,000-40,000 seater stadiums. There's ways and means out there.
We went to watch Newton Faulkner recently, and he's also the same. He's all completely independent, but this gig was just
Newton Faulkner. Lack of a dreads. Last time I seen him,
he does. Well, I think he's got a little bit.
I went to see him in the O2 last year in Liverpool.
Where did we see him? I think it was Manchester we saw him recently, but yes, completely full. But he was just saying at the end of the gig, he just shushed everybody and got everyone quiet, and he just said, I'm an independent artist, and he said, all of you being here is what keeps me going, because I don't have a label to fund my albums or my tours. He said everything is myself, is done myself. I do everything myself. There's not a team of people that work and do everything. And he was saying, he basically ordered everyone in the audience to support live music a lot more. He said it's a dying trade in a way, because everything's falling apart a little bit with everything online. And he said the specialness of going to a gig and witnessing it is second to none, and people should really appreciate that. And it's true. It's true, but it is hard. It's getting very, very hard. Yeah.
So do you think could you when you were standing there, could you hear him speaking to you personally?
He was
with them words of personal. Where you
he was a very, very approachable kind of person.
Yeah. He stops and interacts throughout the gig, doesn't he? He'll stop mid-song and then ask someone a question and then randomly just go back in, and he'll tell you a story about his son. My son's 3, and But and then you just go back into like his number one or like a song he's just had, you know what I mean? And
But that's what makes it. I think
It's
that's why you
genius.
fall in love with him.
yeah, you can tell me musical instruments.
But that's it,
Good
'cause
job
you're
you
not-
can't see me on camera.
Yeah, it's funny because when you go and watch it
Right,
perform,
right.
you're not watching a robot anymore. Are you? You're not like it's not like an app or something like that. This is like a real person with real feelings,
Yeah.
putting himself on the line or putting herself on the line in front of all these people with all this emotion.
I think it's
And
important.
that's what people. That's why I think people are investing in the person almost equally as the music.
Well,
In
it's
ways,
like you just
when
have
you
to look
invest in an artist, you invest in a person
Yeah,
equally to the music. It's a strange thing. If someone's not liked and you've got like the best songs in the world,
yeah.
they're never going to hit a number one because no one likes them.
It also
It's like if Boris Johnson made a song now, well, sorry, Sam, we're getting political here. Or are you just imagining Boris Johnson with a guitar? Or have you seen that before? How we all went wrong, didn't it? It's not the capo. Was that someone else?
No,
No, Boris Johnson with the capo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to hear a song for him.
It was a soccer, wasn't even a capo, was it? That upside down.
Yeah. And he stuck it on and posed with him. Oh, they're funny.
Right,
What
so shall we have some music then?
Yeah.
I reckon what we'll do is we'll have a little song or two from Sam. I keep looking at the camera like people can see me. I don't even know why I'm hiding here at the best time. So we're going from Bojo. Now we're going to go to Sam Lyon. What are you going to sing for us?
Ooh, let's have a think. Do you know what? I'll do my latest single.
Right, okay.
So this is called It's a Beautiful Life.
Okay, so what we're going to do, Sam's going to set up. We're going to press on magical pause and then we'll set up again before you know it. Sam will be sat down with a guitar